Hey guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video. Today we're going to be looking at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I received for free upon purchasing my last PC. I think I got it with the Ryzen CPU. We're going to have a look at the game, we're going to have a look at the options, we're going to see what I feel of it, we're going to see if it is indeed just another Assassin's Creed game or if they're doing anything new and different. I've been playing this for about an hour. I've not got very far in the story and already it is feeling very, very samey. They have changed a few things, and the things they've changed, I'm not going to lie, I'm not overly happy about. And the things they've kept the same, it's just another iteration. It looks like it could be good though. It looks like a game that I could very much see myself doing when I've got nothing else to do. By the end of this video, we will have come to a conclusion of whether I would have bought this game or whether I'm literally only playing it because I got it for free as part of a promotional deal when I bought my CPU for my PC. So let's jump into the options and see what we're actually dealing with in the terms of optimization and performance. Okay, so first thing I'm going to say is that the options menu is really good. It's very in-depth. There are a lot of options to keep everybody happy. They even have a color align mode, which is fantastic. I am a little bit weary in that the performance doesn't seem to quite be there. It's got like an FPS limit and it's got VSync and everything, but when you run benchmark mode, it doesn't have your setup running on the benchmark mode. It's really weird, and it doesn't seem to be able to keep a very stable 60 at all. The other thing I've noticed is that when you boot into the game, sometimes the audio can crackle in and out, and it is also worth noting that a few other people that I've seen play this game have had crashes, so it's not the most stable of games either. Again though, that being said, the options that you've got are bountiful. There are a lot. You can make it run as awesome as possible. Apparently it didn't want to save that I turned motion blur off, so there's that. But yeah, no, I'm genuinely quite happy with the options. I do like this. I like this a lot. So you can have it as hybrid, where it means that I basically can switch between the two. Although whenever I do that, it does make, as I'm sure you've just heard, the audio go off a little bit. But either way, I really like that. I like the fact that you can switch between the two. It is something that needs to be done more. You've got a lot of options for gameplay as well as interface, and you've got things like your compass to be on. The one thing I would say is that a lot of games are doing this at the minute where they have like a compass instead of a minimap. I would prefer a minimap just because I'm god awful at navigating and a compass doesn't really help that much. That is a very subjective thing, but it is something that I would like to see opposed to the compass is an actual minimap. I know that they used to have one in the older games as well. Your sound options, again, there are plentiful. You've got closed captions, you've got your text size that you can make larger or smaller. They've even got somewhere where you can turn it up for your you can make it so that it's louder. You can make it so that when they talk it's much louder. You've then also got third-party options as well. I don't think I've got all of these on because I don't think I've got them available, but it's nice that they've got them all here. I don't use an MSI keyboard, so just but yeah, so overall graphics, I'm very impressed. I'm more impressed than I figured I was going to be with an Ubisoft game. It's just, again, some slight optimization issues, especially if I change between keyboard and mouse and controller for menus and stuff where the sound goes off. Let's jump into gameplay and see how it actually runs, shall we? Here we are then. We are in our area. Now, I've literally just done the first opening quest, and already that has told me pretty much everything I need to know. The last Assassin's Creed game that I actually played was Syndicate. I haven't played anything since. I kind of got a bit bored of the franchise, and with what I've seen so far, that's not really changed. The graphics are okay. I wouldn't say they're fantastically brilliant. Like, there's some animation and there's some bits and pieces that I watched and I'm like, it looks kind of subpar. It looks too gamey, if that's the right word. Like with the details that they've tried to add in, and especially when you do things like circle around the character, when you're in the very first starting sequence as a small child, you actually completely disappear and all you see is the ball. You clip into yourself. And I would really expect better by the end of 2020, to be honest. The same with some of the killing animations and stuff. Like, there's blood and gore and stuff, but it looks very disconnected from everything else. It doesn't look very realistic, and in a game where they're trying to be realistic, it kind of shows more than it should. The scenery, however, is absolutely phenomenal. It is really, really pretty. The sound is really, really good as well. Like, you can hear each crunch of the snow and stuff. They've got that all really, really right. Combat-wise, it's as simplistic as it ever was. You have a normal attack, you've got a heavy attack, you've got a crouch, and you've got a dodge. What they have done in this one is they seem to have started you with a lot of strength and ability, whereas in previous ones, you couldn't climb for a certain point because you didn't know what you were doing. Or if you could, it was very, very rough. You couldn't use your sight, whereas that is just a thing now. They haven't even really kind of gone to the trouble of explaining what it is or how it works. It's just Odin's sight. You can see enemies. You're already a skilled warrior because you're a Viking. And it kind of feels a little bit like they've dumbed it down. They're expecting that they're going to get a lot of the return crowd, and it almost feels like they're not expecting to get a lot of new crowd because they don't really explain anything. Like, the biggest problem that I've always had with Assassin's Creed is after 3, the present time, the thing that kind of all gelled it together and gave you a reason for going back in the past in the first place, it's not there anymore. Like, I've so far had one interaction with the outside world, which is them arguing over the fact that I can choose male or female, because that's a new thing in the Assassin's Creed. I don't know if they've done it in previous... I know they started mucking around with it in Syndicate, but you can now choose if you want to be a male or a female, even though it's the same character. And they kind of tied it together with this weird DNA influx thing. I kind of preferred it where they just gave you a character and was like, here you go. You know, like, you can't customize it outside of being a male or a female. It literally plays no part in the story. Just make it a female or make it a male. Just make it one or the other. It's not a game that requires that choice. If you could customize the character further, if you could give them different traits or whatever, then yeah, cool, go nuts. But there is literally no reason to have that weird kind of addition to the story that already is far-fetched to try and add to it and fluff to it. But yeah, so the combat, it's not ideal. It doesn't feel as smooth. You don't have a counter mechanic. You've got a parry and you've got to move. Like, the original, the very first Assassin's Creed game copied off of Batman. Batman copied off of Assassin's Creed. I can't remember which one came out first, but it had a really nice and flowing combat style, whereas this has gone more it's gone more free flow, but it doesn't really work that great. They've got a stamina system in it, which is, it's not ideal. I don't know why you'd go with a stamina system in a game like Assassin's Creed. always, for me, been a power fantasy. You are a powerhouse who can strike from the rafters and just annihilate your enemies, and yet they've gone down this really weird, you're a big burly bloke and you get tired quickly. They've got an equipment system on here as well, which they kind of had before in previous ones. They really introduced it in Syndicate, from my memory serves me, where they had like the canes and stuff. Not sure if I'm a fan of it, or if I'd prefer it if they just stuck to just having it as weapons and you upgraded them to make them just better. As opposed to like getting new ones and finding them from enemies and stuff. It seems a bit like it wants to be an MMO without it being an MMO. The storytelling, however, is good. The voice acting is incredible, as always. Like, Assassin's Creed has always been about the story. It's never been about how difficult it is. It's never been about really amazing combat. It's always been about the story. And the reason, or the main reason why I got bored of the story in the previous games, is because it just didn't make sense, as sensical as an Assassin's Creed game could be. I really liked the fact that they tied it in with Desmond, and they had the Templars, and they had the Assassins, and there was that blood feud, and there was that fury, and it was all tied in, and you could see how it was brought to the present, and they made it so that if you did work in the Animus, then you would gain those strengths in the present. And then they killed Desmond off, and they lost all that. They never really gained it back. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's good. It's okay. I just wouldn't say it's great. The main reason why I'm just running around here is because I don't really want to give away too much story. And again, Assassin's Creed is all story. There's never really a huge amount of like combat. The whole idea is to not get into combat. It's to stay hidden, to kill your enemies, hide them, rinse and repeat. And they're not really going away from that formula. There's still the little logic brokes as well, where if you're in grass like this, even though you are clearly sticking out like a sore thumb, they can't see you, and that's cute and all. But yeah, it'd be nice if they actually made the foliage long enough that it would make sense that you can't be seen. But that is Assassin's Creed. Like, my takeaway is, would I pay £50 for this game? No. Am I going to play it and probably enjoy it at least a little bit because I got it for free? Yes. If you enjoy previous Assassin's Creed games, will you enjoy this? Probably. Does it need to be better optimized and have some of the big bug fixes fixed? Yes, indeedy. A game crashing, as much as what I've heard, this game crashing is never good. One thing that I did like with the inventory system is you can go with a shield, or you can have two axes and go full like Berserker. That was kind of cool. Also, interestingly, you've still got the towers. You've still got the towers where you've got to go and find them and synchronize with them. And, you know, it's more of the same systems. The world looks fairly big, however, which is nice. But jumping up towers to show off the rest of the world, it's samey, it's boring, it's tedious, and, you know, give us something more. Like, the franchise has been going for a long time, but give us something new. Give us something new that works. Stop trying to make it an MMO without making it an MMO and keeping it to the same open world that's not really that big formula, because people are going to get bored of it. There are so many new games coming out. Oh, good to see that they've still got the can't go this far because you've not unlocked the memory thing. Yeah, area not available, so you're going to desynchronize and die a horrible death. Yeah. This is Assassin's Creed, guys. This is what you get. Soundtrack's amazing. Story seems to be pretty good. Animation's still a bit The combat system's still a bit You're not really getting anything new. if you like the previous Assassin's Creeds, you'll probably enjoy this one. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with it. There's just nothing fundamentally amazing about it either. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.